The first sighting was in 1978 when Cheryl sent out a cry for help. "I need your help. The police have to catch this guy before he kills again. He's crazy." Cheryl told her friend Terry about how she had just seen the most terrifying man that she had ever seen in her life. The man had approached her while she was walking down the street, but what made him so creepy wasn't his appearance or anything that he said. It was his smile. It wasn't a nice smile. It was a wide, disturbing smile that revealed teeth that were way too sharp and way too long. His eyes were also unsettling, like those of a snake ready to strike its prey. He just stood there grinning at her until she turned away and walked away. When she told Terry about it, they decided to go down to the local police station to report the incident. But when they got there, they found out that they weren't the only ones who had seen the man. In fact, there had been a number of other women who had come forward with similar stories. They all described the same man with the same disturbing smile. But despite the fact that several women had seen this man, the police didn't take any action. They basically just told the women to be more aware of their surroundings and let it go. The women were furious because they felt that the police weren't taking them seriously. And they were right. If the police had taken action sooner, maybe they could have prevented what happened next. A few weeks later, one of the women who had reported the smiling man to the police went missing. Her name was Mary Jane, and no one knew what had happened to her. The police didn't even launch a full investigation. They just assumed that she had run away or something. But her family and friends weren't so sure. They all knew about the smiling man, and they believed that he was responsible for her disappearance. They went back to the police and demanded that they do more, but they refused. So they took matters into their own hands. They formed a group and started their own investigation. They went door to door, asking people if they had seen the smiling man, but no one had. They checked all the local hospitals and morgues, but there was no sign of Mary Jane. They were stumped. Then suddenly, one of the members of the group remembered something. One of the women who had reported the smiling man to the police had mentioned that he had approached her while she was walking down a specific street. And at the end of that street was a big park. And in that park was a small cottage that was used for storage. No one really knew who had access to the cottage, but it was assumed that it was the city officials. The group decided to search the cottage, but they needed a warrant. So they went to the police and told them what they were trying to do. To their surprise, the police agreed to help them, and they were able to get a warrant. When they opened up the cottage, what they saw inside would haunt them forever. Inside the cottage, they found the body of Mary Jane. She had been strangled, and her body had been left there to rot. The group was devastated, but they were also angry at the police. They realized that they couldn't rely on the police to protect them from the smiling man. They had to take matters into their own hands. They posted flyers with the smiling man's description all over town, and they even offered a reward for information leading to his arrest. One day, a young woman named Jessica saw the flyer, and she knew she had seen the smiling man. She had seen him not long after Mary Jane had disappeared, but she hadn't thought much of it at the time. She had just assumed that he was a creepy guy who liked to smile a lot. But now that she knew that he was wanted for murder, she remembered everything. She remembered the exact date and time that she had seen him, as well as the location. Jessica immediately called the police and told them what she had seen. She was then put into a lineup where the other women who had seen the smiling man also identified him. Finally, the police were able to make an arrest. When they went to question the smiling man, he didn't deny that he had killed Mary Jane. In fact, he seemed proud of it. He told the police that he had been stalking Mary Jane for weeks before finally approaching her and killing her. He had chosen her specifically because he knew that no one would look for her. He had studied the news, and he knew that the police didn't take women's reports seriously. He was basically bragging about how smart he was. The police were disgusted, but they were also relieved that they had finally caught him. They charged him with murder, and he was soon sentenced to life in prison without parole. Finally, the women could feel safe again. They didn't have to worry about the smiling man anymore. But some of them never forgot the terror that he had caused them. One of the women, whose name was Sarah, started having nightmares about the smiling man. She would dream that she was walking down a dark street when suddenly he would appear behind her. He would start smiling and she would try to run, but she couldn't. He would always catch up to her and then he would kill her. Sarah was terrified, but she knew that she couldn't let the nightmares win. She couldn't let the smiling man control her life. So she did the only thing that she could think of. She went to the police and told them about her nightmares. At first, they didn't take her seriously. They thought that she was just making this up. But then she told them that she had a plan and that she needed their help. She explained that she was worried that the smiling man might come for her in her dreams. And if that happened, she would need the police to be there to protect her. They agreed to help her, and they set up a stakeout at her house. That night, the police watched over Sarah's house while she slept. They were prepared for anything, but nothing happened. The night was long and uneventful, and by the next morning, everyone had gone home. Sarah was exhausted, but she couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the events of that night in her head, wondering if she had made the right decision. Had she just wasted the police's time? Was the smiling man really still out there? Just when she was about to give up hope, she heard a knock at the door. She opened it and there was an officer standing there. He looked serious and he told Sarah that she needed to come with him. She followed him outside and they got into the police car. He drove her to the station house, and there, to her surprise, was the smiling man. He was sitting in an interrogation room and he was smiling. It was the same unsettling smile that had haunted her for so many years. She couldn't believe it. How had the police caught him? Had he come to her house last night? Had they stopped him in time? The officer must have read her mind because he spoke up. We got a call last night from someone who said they saw you being taken away in the middle of the night. When we traced the call, it led us right here. The smiling man had tried to contact Sarah, but why? What did he want? The officer shook his head. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, he's not getting away this time. We have enough evidence to put him away for good. As the police led the smiling man away, Sarah could feel the weight of the world lift off her shoulders. She had finally escaped the nightmare. The smiling man was behind bars where he belonged. But as she turned to leave, she heard the smiling man speak. You can't hide forever, Sarah. I'll find you. Even if I have to follow you into your dreams. His words echoed in her ears. And for a moment, she felt that old sense of dread wash over her. Was the smiling man still out there? Was he still stalking her? Or was that just wishful thinking on his part? The mind of a serial killer remains a terrifying mystery. For more spine-chilling creepypasta stories, stay tuned.